Hey guys, Peak Performance Martial Arts here. We're going to interview Coach Steven and his journey in martial arts. So, Coach, what styles have you trained in?
I started out doing traditional karate when I was a kid, and then nothing for a long time, and then Muay Thai when I was maybe about 21, and then I picked up Jiu-Jitsu probably about 2 years after that. So ever since then, it's pretty much just been Jiu-Jitsu. And then, basically training with MMA fighters, doing some wrestling, boxing, all that stuff too.
So, between all these styles, because they're a little different in a way, what did you feel they had in common, or how did it help you when you did like MMA, for example?
What do they have in common? It's hard to say. With Jiu-Jitsu is almost kind of its own thing. As far as a martial art, the only thing it has in common with most other martial arts is that there's a gi, and it's a martial art, right? It's in practice, a lot of things are different about it, right? So, as far as I would say that the principles of fighting can be understood broadly throughout different arts. I would say that. So I think if you learn one art out of what I would say like the big four, boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, I think you're going to learn a lot of the same principles apply across the board to fighting and just how human bodies move together in general, right?
Have you had any challenges, and how did you overcome them?
No.
You're just
I'm joking.
just a beast.
Well, I wasn't athletic really when I started. I wasn't in shape. I didn't do anything when I started doing martial arts. I made every possible mistake a person could make in jiu-jitsu. I mean, just every social faux pas and etiquette thing that I could possibly do wrong, I did wrong just because I didn't know, right? So I think the thing about martial arts that I learned from it as an adult, which was probably later than it should have been for me, was kind of it gives you an operating system of just how to be, right? When certain things happen in life, you kind of, I think Musashi has a quote where once you see the way, you can see the way in all things, right? And I think through martial arts, it kind of helps you to understand how to tackle other things in life, right? Kind of gives you a way to be, if that makes sense. So there were a lot of things that I learned just about being a human being that I learned via the martial arts that I think I could have learned through something else, anything else difficult, right? It could be running marathons, it could be anything where you have to push past the point where you don't really want to do it anymore certain times, right? There has to be that moment where you're like, I want to stop, I don't want this, and I don't want to do this, and there has to be somebody around to give you that little push past that comfort zone, and that's what makes all the difference, So I think that was a big lesson, right?
So basically, like anything worthwhile in life, you have to put effort into.
Yeah, I try to say it without sounding so cliche, but yeah, I try to put it in my own cool way of saying it. But yeah, that's the truth, honestly, and it's a cliche because it's true,
And just one last question. You were saying about all the mistakes you've made, like we'll say injuries in the martial arts. Like, how would you say? Give an example of one you had and how majorly we can prevent these things.
I would say, when in doubt, ask somebody around who actually knows what they're doing. Don't feel embarrassed about it, because there are times where you'll see two people who are new and one of them's kind of giving them advice, but they're doing it very quietly like this. And they know it's because they're not 100% sure if what they're saying is true or not, or if they're correct or not. They just want to help, right? And I think a lot of times injuries and things like that could be prevented, just like so many other awkward things in life, with a little bit more communication and conversation, right? Say, Coach, is this kind of the right way to do this? This is a little ambiguous to me. Can you clarify this for me a little bit? And your coach, if they're a decent coach, should be willing to do that for you, right? So there are a lot of times, I think, where I got injured, where I was being an idiot, but there was also nobody around to tell me I was being an idiot. So maybe a little bit more supervision in that case, right? So many things that could have been, where it was just like, hey, don't put your hand there, that's gonna hurt. Where instead I got hurt and I was out for a while and had to learn the hard way, So some people are able to learn from other people's mistakes and some aren't, right? And I think the same is true in martial arts, so I think good coaching can prevent a lot of that stuff. I could go over just in detail physical things that could prevent you from getting hurt, but that would have to be its own video. There's a whole lot of things there, right?
Well, thank you, Coach,
yes, sir.
and taking the time and doing this with us. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
guys.
one.